part of an intimate conversation that he had, sharing the behind the scenes of his business. And honestly, the information that he shared within that conversation, I know that it's going to change the trajectory of my business forever. And the most exciting part is I'm going to share some of the highlights of what he shared with me with you today. And especially one thing that he shared, which I didn't actually expect him to answer in the way that he did, and it has totally changed the way that I think about that topic. So, Jay Shetty, as you may know, is one of the world's leading podcast hosts. He has a show called On Purpose and has interviewed some of the most influential people in the world. Like, he's had Oprah Winfrey on there, Emma Watson, lots of different people from all different walks of life. And whilst he deals with and shares information about mindset, the topics that he was discussing when I met him were how he's gotten to where he's gotten. How he had an interview with Netflix on his 30th birthday but didn't actually get it, and how that felt. And he shared that so much from behind the scenes of his business and was so open and honest that I was there frantically making notes for everything he was saying, like literally word for word. And I think that sometimes with people like that, you can think, oh, I'd love to hear them to talk about the main thing that they're known for. And I wasn't actually expecting Jay to talk about the mechanics of his business. Like, I thought he would just talk to us about the mindset of being an entrepreneur and how tricky it is. But let's face it, we all know that if you are an entrepreneur, that you're often on a bit of a roller coaster and it can be a little bit tricky. And one of the things that he was sharing was how to make sure that you are getting visible in front of the people that need to see you, that need to hear your message. It was a really great reminder that we've all got such an important message to share. UK's leading lawyer for entrepreneurs, and I often sit in that space and only talk about legal things and do legal trainings. But then also I have so much to share about other elements of running a business, and I think it was really refreshing to hear Jay talk about his business. Now, one of the things that he really spoke a lot about is having a rhythm in your business. He talked about the different sides of your brain and how it can be really hard to try and, for example, write content and then shoot content. So he was just reminding us that that is a really hard thing to do. So not to set ourselves up to potentially to fail by trying to draft a script for something and then film it in that same day, because they're different topics. It's like jumping from task to task. It's not an effective way of running your business. He also shared really a lot about getting ahead of yourself. So lots of us are tempted to follow trends and to see something and jump on it and try and record and try and share in real time what's happening, or to just try and share information sort of as we're recording it. He was suggesting that we get ahead of that and, if possible, use a team to do that. And I know that that's not possible for everyone. And I know myself, being a small business, it's not possible to have a huge team. But he also shared that the key thing he would get first is a content creator, someone that can go away and help you ideate ideas, can see what's working, can help you with scripts, shoot locations if that's something you can do. And he was really talking about how sharing your message is one of the most valuable pieces. And as I said, it's not just about me, for example, sharing legal content with you, but also my journey of entrepreneurship. So I met Jay because I was part of a mastermind retreat, which is for multi-6 and 7-figure entrepreneurs. And let me tell you, I went into that room feeling like, oh my goodness, are they gonna know everything? Are they gonna know some secret that I don't know? And where will I fit? I wasn't sure where I would fit within it. Like, would I be the the earliest person in my business, or would I be like at the top end? I didn't know whether I would be in the middle or where I might sit. And I felt so proud. I actually felt like a different person when I left, because I don't have that fear anymore of like which room or where I would feel placed in a room. And I think that was the thing. I leapt forward so much in that experience. And one of the things I realized as well was that I did know, I don't want to say I knew everything we were talking about, because clearly I learned loads, but it wasn't the case that everybody knew something I didn't. I was reminded within that experience that I know so much because I've been an entrepreneur myself for 6 years, and I had so much value and so much to give and to share as part of that. And it was just really a great reminder hearing Jay say to people to really share your message. So definitely that's something that you can do, is like think about how you can share your message. And what he was suggesting was that you don't follow trends, but that you get at least one really good piece of content out into the world each week. And he was saying that depending on who you have in your team, you might then be able to cut it into different pieces and utilize it elsewhere within your business, potentially on social media. But he was saying get one really good piece of content. I found that so interesting because what he didn't say was, you need to post on Instagram every day. You need to do this every day. Like, he wasn't saying about volume. He was talking about quality. And I love that. Obviously, I'm a lawyer who has very high standards. So I think it's so important because people just think you can just post loads and loads, like posting every day. And that is not the best idea. And that was something that Jay shared as well. He was also saying things that, like, he never sets KPIs anymore. He said he doesn't look to try and get like 500,000 more followers in a month, which is what he did one month. Can you believe it? Like, 1 month, he actually got 500,000 new followers. And he doesn't try and do that. He just tries to get percentage increases. So rather than saying we need to hit this figure, he tries to move into a percentage based, so it can be thereabouts, and saying, instead of saying it must be this exact figure, and he's got that parameter, rather than saying it must be an exact percentage. But the thing I think that I loved the most was when Jay was sharing how to go viral. So he was asked, how did you get where you are? How did you do it? Like, obviously everybody in this room would love to have even some of the success that you have gotten. And he answered the question by saying, it really doesn't matter. He said, I could share with you what I did, and he did share some of that, but he said, a lot of that is not what I would do now. And he suggested what you should do now to go viral, and how most people think they can't go viral because they think that their hair isn't pretty enough, or they've not got a nice enough background, or something like that. And he was saying that's not correct. Virality is all about patterns. And he was explaining how you can find the patterns and then instantly know whether something's going to go viral. And the thing is, it's because people want to share it. He talked about having 5 key reasons for people to watch your content. So he said you need to appeal to 5 different aspects, and he went through all of those, and it was just so fascinating because I was thinking, of course, that's so right. And it's one of those things again where it doesn't have to be something super complex. Like, nothing he said was like, oh my goodness, I would never be able to do that. He was right. We could all go viral if we knew how to do it. And it was so refreshing for him to be so honest and to share the behind the scenes of his business. So, Jay, I know we did meet, and I know you're never going to see this, but just wanted to say thank you so much for your time. And how nice is it for somebody to give up their time to share and support the dreams of other entrepreneurs? Because that's my really big dream. I always feel so lucky that I get to support people at the early stage often of running their business. And they often stay with me for a lot longer as they are trying to grow and reach more people. So in doing what I do, I effectively create a ripple effect. I'm working on my business, trying to help other people to start their business. And lots of people, when they start, they don't have the confidence that they need because they're worried about what am I going to look like if I don't have a contract? Like, can I start working with someone without a contract? What if something goes wrong? What if someone asks me for a refund? What if there's an issue? And in me providing them with legal contracts, so the legal templates that we share, or even the membership that we have, by me supporting them through that, it means that they then have the confidence to go and then share their message with the world, which is what creates an incredible ripple effect. So I feel so fortunate to do what I do. I also feel so incredibly proud that I got invited to be part of that room and part of the conversation and get to meet Jay. So if you have any questions and you want to know about anything further that I've talked about in this video, then just pop me a comment and I will let you know. Make sure also that you are subscribing. I'll put up a post for it so you can hit the subscribe button.